Angelina, to your left side.
Blake Lively absolutely lost it after Angelina Jolie shut her down on live TV, with just one savage line. While Angelina's legacy speaks for itself, Blake tried to fake her way onto Time's most influential list, and ended up getting dragged all the way back to reality.
Time magazine just announced the 100 most influential people of 2025. Wait, why is Blake Lively?
It was a one-liner. Total humiliation. No comeback. Angelina simply said there's a difference between telling a story and stealing someone else's voice while smiling for the camera. No names. No drama. Just a calm, nuclear-grade sentence that sent Blake Lively's pastel-perfect PR machine into full meltdown. And the best part? Everyone knew exactly who she meant. The room fell silent. It was like someone had dropped a live MIC in the Vatican. Hollywood gasped. Fashion blogs flamed her. Advocacy panels quietly stepped back. Florence Pugh and Charlize Theron unfollowed her faster than you can say performative activism.
Blake Lively slammed for disgusting and embarrassing inclusion on Time 100 Most Influential People list.
Meanwhile, Angelina didn't post a selfie. Didn't drop a notes app apology. Didn't flinch because she didn't have to. She's Angelina Jolie. Her work speaks for blackest noise. Filtered, recycled, plagiarized noise.
It's honestly comedy at this point. I don't even think I'm offended anymore by anything that this degenerate does.
And you know what makes it all worse? The comparison, let's be honest. Blake shouldn't even be mentioned in the same sentence as Angelina. We're talking about a woman who's spent over 2 decades walking into actual war zones. Over 60 field missions. UNHCR Special Envoy founded legal aid program Assisi for refugee children.
Difficult as conditions are, the refugees here count themselves as the lucky ones.
She even received the Jean Heschel Humanitarian Award. And that's just the highlights. Angelina's been on the front lines. Blake, front row at Fashion Week.
Angelina Jolie says Hollywood is sometimes not a healthy business. It's not the easiest place. Meanwhile,
Blake Lively's greatest contribution to humanity. Magnolia Pearl jeans, yes. The same brand that thought launching a plantation-inspired clothing line was a good idea. Oh, and let's not forget her wedding. She married Ryan Reynolds at Boone Hall, an actual slave plantation.
And Blake decided to get married at the Boone Plantation in South Carolina. That's where they got married. There's no slaves in that plantation right now, but you know, it was all about history, the braids. Were there ever slaves here? Did bad stuff happen here? How dare you get married here?
Because nothing says forever love like saying till death do us part, in a place where people were once whipped into forced labor. And when people called her out, Sheehy cried into a People magazine spread and threw money at the NAACP that's been reported anywhere between $200,000 and $2 million. Even her apology money has commitment issues.
The only reason that they donated this money is because after multiple times, after year, they had been getting slammed and receiving so much backlash for their plantation wedding.
And speaking of commitment, let's talk about her humanitarian cosplay. Blake launched a campaign called Homebound. On the surface, it looked inspiring. Soft voiceovers, pastel branding, a website that whispered, "I care, but aesthetically." But look closer. The tagline "Rebuilding what's been broken, one voice at a time" sounds powerful, until you realize it's word for word from Angelina Jolie's 2019 UNHCR campaign. Like, straight-up copy-paste theft.
What happened in 2019 was that Blake and Ryan were once again in desperate need of good PR. And I will say this time it wasn't their fault.
And it gets worse. The village Blake used for her polished, feel-good photo ops, that village had already been supported by Angelina for 6 years. Blake shows up with her glam team for a weekend shoot and acts like she just discovered compassion. NN. Meanwhile, Angelina's been quietly funding that exact community for half a decade. That new Blake Lively ad feels a little too familiar.
Word-for-word phrasing from Angelina's refugee campaign in 2019. This ain't homage, it's theft.
Did Blake credit Angelina? Say thank you. Acknowledge the work. Of course not. Not. Because respect the blueprint when you're busy trying to steal the architect's spotlight.
Sources say Angelina Jolie was livid after Blake's team launched a campaign mimicking her UN initiative. And after that panel quote, the gloves are off.
It got so bad the UN had to step in. A leaked email from a UN press officer to Blake's team read MS. Jolie is understandably distressed. Which, let's be honest, is diplomat speak for you seriously crossed a line. What did Blake's team do? Total panic, the homebound website went into maintenance mode. The voiceover ad, gone the Instagram post with the stolen quote. Deleted, no apology. No clarification, just a digital vanishing act. If you blinked, you'd think it never happened. But the internet never forgets. And screenshots, they are forever.
Angelina's been in Syria, Cambodia, Congo. Blake did one filtered trip and tried to rebrand trauma like it was her lifestyle blog. I'm actually disgusted.
When people started comparing Blake's campaign visuals to Angelina's, it was honestly laughable. Liar, identical. Same camera angles. Same emotional buzzwords, same staged pose surrounded by displaced women. The difference in Angelina's case, it was real. Titan was raw. It was earned.
Is a myth that rape is an inevitable part of conflict.
In Blake's case, it looked like a Vogue photo shoot about suffering. Like Angelina did all the homework, and Blake just changed the font to pastel pink and tried to turn it in for extra credit. You know what it felt like? Like someone walking into your house, repainting the walls, snapping a selfie, and calling it their own.
She didn't just borrow inspiration, she hijacked legacy.
And the worst part, she expected applause for it. She actually thought no one would notice. Shehi really believed that if she smiled sweetly enough, whispered about healing, and added just the right Instagram filter, the world would eat it up. But it didn't. It choked. ED. Because this isn't 2012, and we don't stay silent for likes anymore. Let's not act like this is new, either. Thins. From the plantation wedding silence to her strange obsession with Southern aesthetics to her fake apologies wrapped in PR spin, now she's trying to slap a philanthropic bow on top and hope we don't notice the cracks. But we do. We do. Angelina's them, Hollywooder. And the public, we're done playing dumb.
People were outraged. And I'm not kidding. I'm showing you this headline from NBC News. It says, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively apologize for plantation wedding. Now, this is published in 2020.
Because while Blake's out here signing merch for characters she never played and pretending she just discovered activism, Angelina's sitting on 20+ years of actual fieldwork. Quietly, gracefully, with more real-world impact than Blake could ever manufacture with all the PR dollars in the world. That one sentence from Angelina, it wasn't just shade. It was a reality check. Not because it was loud beaut, because it was true. And in a world of photoshopped philanthropy, truth hits like a brick. Let's talk about that wedding again. Yes, the literal slave plantation wedding, where Blake Lively said I do standing on a site soaked in human suffering because apparently nothing says fairy tale like exchanging vows where people were once auctioned. All, South Carolina, 2012. That's the venue she picked. On purpose with Ryan Reynolds. You really couldn't make this up if you tried.
He has a history of weird, kind of racist things.
Then came 2018. Good old Ryan Reynolds tweets Wakanda forever, trying to ride the woke wave, and the internet didn't even hesitate before dragging him back to reality with one brutal reminder. You get married on a plantation? Cue the silence. Cue the sweating. Cue the realization that social justice and antebellum aesthetics don't exactly mix. It took 2 more years of mounting backlash before they finally issued an apology in 2020. Ryan called the whole thing impossible to reconcile. You think?
It's super expensive as well, horrible clothing, and it's another proof that Blake Lively, first of all, doesn't have any sense of fashion, and she would wear plantation fashion.
But here comes the classic celebrity damage control move. The donation Blake and Ryan dropped what was presented as a generous $1 million to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. But wait, some reports say it might have only been $200,000. Because when your whole image is built on smoke and mirrors, Evanine and your receipts come with disclaimers.
Her and Ryan apparently gave a bunch of money to NAACP's Legal Defense and Educational Fund.
So let's break this down. They tried to cover 7 years of plantation wedding level backlash with the donation smaller than Blake's Met Gala budget. And Time magazine, bless their out-of-touch hearts, decided this dusty, PR-soaked move made Blake Lively a titan. Yes, titan. As in strength, intellect, and power. They put her in the same breath as Serena Williams and Simone Biles. I'm sorry, what?
Lively is, and calling her a titan. A titan is defined by a person of very great strength, intellect, or important.
And just when you thought it couldn't get more tone-deaf in 2025, Blake shows up in an interview gushing about her Magnolia Pearl jeans. She calls them her real-life jeans. Like that's supposed to be endearing. Except Magnolia Pearl is the brand that literally launched a plantation fashion line. Yeah, plantation core Southern charm, inspired by slavery, so the real questions are, who ho-hos greenlit this? Who ho-hos buying this? And who, in their right mind, proudly wears it while preaching empathy and justice?
Just really loved those patchwork like jeans that you have.
Magnolia Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my real life jeans.
Screenshots from Magnolia Pearl's campaign hit the internet faster than you could say, wait, what the actual hell? And honestly, rightfully so. People weren't just mad. They were disgusted. One viral comment said it best. This is aesthetic racism for the rich. Because that's exactly what it is. It's splay for people who want to romanticize pain without ever actually living through it. And Blake, she wore it like it was vintage Chanel.
And they clearly ignored it. In fact, Blake has a history of romanticizing the Deep South with her weird blueberry muffins that she did. She has a history of weird kind of racist things.
Her entire fashion history is one tone-deaf disaster after another. From slavery-themed cupcake to her funeral core Barbie red carpet era girl, you're not serving empathy. You're serving revisionist history in designer heels.
It's very clear what it is. The slave house, all of it. It's all very clear.
Meanwhile, halfway across the world, Angelina Jolie is sitting trauma centers with survivors of sexual violence. Testifying before the UN meeting with refugees legislation forward, while Blake's out here looking like Gone with the Wind's unpaid PR, in turn Angelina's changing lives. The contrast isn't just offensive, titbits embarrassing.
It was listed between Serena Williams and Simone Biles, and what they say about her is that she is a civil rights leader, which is so offensive.
Now let's talk about the most bizarre PR moment of all. Blake fan stunt at the Another Simple Favor premiere. Picture this, Blake all smiles, Sharpie in hand, signing of Lady Deadpool. Cute, right? Except, Blake never played Lady Deadpool. Never wore the suit. Never shot the scene. The photos, they were of her stunt double. And yet there she was, autographing like she was donating memorabilia to a charity auction. Let's not forget, this is the same woman who spent a decade speedwalking past fans like they were waving court summons. But now handing out fake autographs like they are PR band-aids. Because of course she is shine deep in image rehab after the Justin Bidoni drama exploded in her face.
Do you want this picture? And you can go over there and get her signature on it, and then you maybe can sell it on eBay and make $25.
Oh, and let's not forget the cherry on top, her now iconic quote, "I finally have a voice." Girl, what do you mean finally? You've had a megaphone since 2005. You've been the face of every shampoo brand, every movie poster, every red carpet. You've had full Vogue spreads, private Chanel fittings, and endorsement deals longer than most people's careers. The only thing you just found was the panic button when your reputation started burning. This isn't a breakthrough, it's a brand strategy. And a bad one at that.
We know Blake Lively did never wear that Ladypool suit. So this is the stunt woman who pretended to be Blake Lively in the Deadpool movie. And she's signing it, smiling for another movie she is promoting.
And isn't it convenient how all this started unraveling right when she got caught up in legal drama with Justin Blayden? The timing is suspiciously perfect, like her PR team was huddled in a war room going, okay, how do we make Blake look relatable? I know. Let's dig up some old photos of her stunt double and throw her into a crowd of fans she usually ignores. Genius, right? This whole rebrand feels like one long episode of performative nonsense. It's not activism, it's a pageant. And the worst part.
All the races, what do? Well, we're rich. We're fabulously rich. We have money. And so they contacted the NAACP and wrote them a big check. Okay, that's what happened.
She actually thought it would work. She really believed she could throw on some plantation core jeans, wave a donation check at the NAACP, autograph a few stunt double posters, and we'd all just move on. But we didn't. We remember. We're not that gullible. And this whole new Blake act, it's about as convincing as a Hallmark movie about genocide, pretty colors, zero substance.
The reality is, they did give $2 million to fund social justice initiatives with the NIC. I guess after that donation, they were pressed up to give more, and so they both each gave $1 million.
While Angelina Jolie drops one line at a summit and shifts global conversations, Blake's still out here fumbling through awkward fan encounters and charity projects that look more like aesthetic crimes than real help. And the fact that Time magazine had the audacity to call her a titan, that's not influence. That's an insult.
100 of this year as a titan for a donation they made that they were using to cover their own racism, and now they're suddenly 6 years later a titan of the year.
And let me tell you, if Bleach had a brand ambassador, it would be Blake. She didn't just try to scrub her past. She tried to scrub the entire internet like we wouldn't notice. Between 2018 and 2022, her plantation wedding trended every year like clockwork. It was an annual roast session. And now, crickets. Silence. Gone. You search for the receipts, and all you find are user not found pages and account protected pop-ups. Reddit threads that used to be packed with screenshots and call-outs? Locked, deleted, wiped clean. Classic, textbook reputation laundering.
She's here because she made a contribution of $200,000 to the NAACP legal defense firm, amid criticism for previously having their wedding on a former plantation.
Let's be real, this isn't some random coincidence or digital glitch. This has PR fixer written all over it. And not just any fixer. Word is, someone like Jed Wallace or his elite little internet cleanup crew was brought in. These are the folks who treat scandals like SEO problems. They don't erase your past. They bury it under 6 layers of algorithmic fluff. Suddenly, Blake's plantation wedding? Gone. Now it's all pastel-toned empowerment posts, pinned like they are holy texts. It's giving Bleach. It's giving hard reset. It's giving panic mode.
Like, oh, they're from Magnolia Pearl, which is a very controversial fashion brand. From the people I've seen that's done research on this brand, it's called the Plantation Fashion brand.
And the timing? Too perfect. The exact same week she lands a spot on Time's 100 most influential people list, her homebound campaign conveniently goes under maintenance. Just vanishes. All those polished photos, that slogan she lifted from Angelina, the video that looked more like a Sephora ad than a charity appeal, all gone. Poof. Nothing left but a broken link and the stench of desperation. Because let's be honest, if you're innocent, you don't nuke your entire campaign site the moment people start asking questions.
Probably never see again. And for her to be included is disgusting. But we know it's pay for play. People are researching how much it costs to actually be included in it.
Here's the truth. Blake didn't scrub her past because it was unfair. She scrubbed it because it was true. And when your entire persona is a performance, even one honest moment can bring the whole illusion crashing down. Her timeline now? It's cleaner than her airbrushed face in a L'Oreal ad. This isn't just reputation management, it's digital witness tampering. And it screams one thing, guilt.
Seems unlike them. They would, keep donating money to make themselves worthy. This whole thing is just shocking to me. It's shocking.
It honestly shocked me. But guess who wasn't scrubbing anything? Hollywood. They just started backing away. Quietly, coldly, brutally. Because unlike Blake's Instagram captions, Hollywood doesn't do long, emotional goodbyes. No think pieces. No explanations. Just unfollows. Florence Pugh and Charlize Theron were the first to go. Clean. Quick. Surgical. No quotes. No drama. Just gone. And then came the silent power move, Natalie Portman. She didn't name names. She didn't subtweet. She just followed Angelina Jolie and dropped the coldest, classiest dagger ever. Legacy isn't about being seen. It's about what remains. That wasn't a quote. That was a eulogy. And if you want visuals, oh, there's more. A leaked photo from a private UNHCR gala showed Angelina Jolie and Amal Clooney in deep, focused conversation. And in the blurry background, Blake Lively, alone, out of frame, out of context, out of place, not seated, not speaking, not acknowledged, just hovering, like a wedding crasher at her own downfall. And the internet did what it does best, roasted her into another dimension. The room knows, one caption said. She finally realized she's not the main character. That photo was reposted over 30,000 times in 48 hours, and not a single soul came to defend her. By April, it was a full-on exodus. Emma Watson unfollowed. Lupita Nyong'o dipped. The timeline looked like it had just lived through a silent protest, and Blake was the only one still clapping for herself. Hollywood didn't scream when it cancelled her. It just stopped inviting her. Because that's how real cancellation works. No tweet. No public dragging. Just silence. Deafening. Strategic. Permanent. And meanwhile, Angelina Jolie didn't lift a finger. She didn't tweet. Didn't post. Didn't clap back. She just existed. While Blake melted down in pastel filters, Angelina stood there, like the ghost of receipts past. No edits. No filters. Just decades of real work behind her. Because Angelina doesn't have to say she's a changemaker. She just makes change. And that's what's driving Blake insane. The woman who's been everywhere, done everything, and actually earned the respect Blake tried to buy, never had to say her name once. Just one sentence. One clean, elegant sentence, and the illusion cracked like cheap glass.
Received glowing tribute inside the magazine from civil rights attorney Cheryl Lynn Eiffel, which, shame on you, Cheryl Lynn. And if she's part of the NAACP, it makes sense.
Because that's what Blake has always been, an illusion. Her brand, photoshopped empowerment. Her voice, market tested. Her activism, focus grouped and foundation funded, and it all collapsed under the weight of one real moment. One sentence did what no lawsuit, no scandal, or no digital dragging ever could. It exposed her. No spin, no smoke, no mirrors. Blake thought she could buy her way into legacy with a few $1 million and a photo op. She thought Photoshop and philanthropy could erase a history built on performative privilege. She thought Time magazine could rebrand her as a titan. But here's the thing. Titans don't need fixes. Titans don't scrub Reddit. Titans don't pretend.
Funniest thing is that the reason why Blake Lively is on this list is basically because she's a philanthropist and she gave, I think it was $2 million. There's different numbers everywhere. Somewhere it said only $200,000.
The pastel branding, the stolen slogans, the faux empowerment captions. It all collapsed under its own weight because people weren't clapping. They were cringing. She tried to style herself as a civil rights icon while rocking plantation core outfits and signing autographs on photos of her stunt double. The audacity, Olympic level, and for the first time in her entire career, no one's coming to save her. No stylist, no lawyer, no PR strategist, not even Ryan Reynolds. Just Blake, alone, staring at a brand she can't Photoshop back into relevance.
Have so much money, so giving away $2 million is like pocket money for them. It's nothing.
And the irony, the woman who claimed she finally had a voice spent her whole career drowning in noise. But when the noise stopped, when the room cleared and the invites dried up, that's when she realized, the voice she thought she'd found, it wasn't hers at all. So do you think, is Blake finally exposed for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and stick around because we're just getting started.